This is KGW News at Sunrise.
First at 5, new information on Sunday night's Amber Alert for a missing girl found asleep in the back of a car after it was stolen. How the community and police teamed up to track her down. Plus,
you saw the flames, the ash is raining down and it's hot. The smoke was so thick.
And that was just the beginning of a nightmare for a family who lost their home during Oregon's historic wildfires 2 years ago. We'll get an update with good news for the family coming up here at 5:15.
And we always love to show you things to do and places to go. Photographer Eric out in Hood River this morning in the beautiful gorge, showing us some of what is called the Hood River Fruit Loop. He's at Mount Hood Winery this morning, showing us some of the wine grapes still on the vine. This is a great time to hit up so many of those fruit stands and wineries and cideries and lavender fields up there in and around Hood River to pick some great fruit. Have a glass, but yeah, it's looking good even in the early morning hours.
Yeah, if you have not been, it is one of my favorite places. I highly recommend. Mount Hood is just beautiful because you're so close to it. Hey, good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us on this Tuesday. We're going to start off with Rod. He's going to answer the question, which season will it feel like today?
Which season? Yesterday, 87 in Scappoose was the warm spot in the valley. PDX wasn't far behind, 86. And today will feel like the season that it is, which is summer.
There you go.
I do want to point out, though, if you're traveling to the south today, you're going to find different weather, upper level low, and this is slowly going to be moving up to the north. So later today, some rain in Eugene, potentially. Later today, cloudiness starting to build into Salem. Portland should stay north of all of that until tomorrow. So for today, it's summer. 56 out the door, 72 at noon. 84 later this afternoon when the kids get out of school. Again, fall begins Thursday evening. Back to you.
Thank you, Rod. Developing this morning, Portland police are on the scene of a deadly shooting in the Portsmouth neighborhood. This started around 7:30 last night when officers responded to North Geneva Avenue near Northgate Park and found evidence of gunfire, but no victim. Then about 20 minutes later, an area hospital reported a person who'd been shot arrived in their emergency room and later died. North Geneva Avenue, right between Fessenden and Newark Streets, is closed right now while this investigation continues.
Well, we also have some new information this morning about what set off an Amber Alert on Sunday night. A lot of us received that alert on our phones. Well, a 7-year-old girl was asleep in the backseat of a car when that car was stolen.
Yeah, she is okay. We've learned more about why she was left there in the first place. Here's Catherine Cook.
My only child lost. You could imagine any mother would be desperate to find their children.
This mother's desperation washed over the Portland metro area Sunday night. Everyone anxious to help find 7-year-old Yamilet. She's safe now. But around 6:50 Sunday night, her family called 911. They told police someone had stolen their black Honda Civic with Yamilet asleep in the back. They'd left the car running while returning a moving truck near Southeast 49th and Powell.
She walked away from the car just for a moment, and then she turned around and realized that the car was driving away.
Portland Police Sergeant Kevin Allen says for the next 4 hours, around 50 police officers searched for Yamilet, and 10 detectives came in on overtime.
There was a tremendous amount of urgency here. Most of us are parents. A lot of us are parents, and we basically see our own kids in the faces of every child that we deal with.
About an hour after that 911 call, police posted photos of the missing 7-year-old and the car she was in. Officers formed a grid search and community members flooded police with tips. Then at 10:35, Oregon State Police pushed out an Amber Alert. OSP tells us while the case didn't meet all the requirements of one, they felt it was necessary with the given information.
I mean, almost every Amber Alert, is going to take a matter of hours to come out. And they don't normally come out right when the call comes out.
By then, many community members, like Nick Corey, who had seen the news reports, were also out searching for Yamilet.
It was appealing to the public. And I thought, hey, that's me. And so I felt like, I needed to do something. I couldn't just sit there.
Nick drove around Laurelhurst Park. Around that same time, Portland police officers Nick Bianchini and Greg Boudet spotted the black Honda Civic near that park. It was ditched along Southeast Laurelhurst Place and Ankeny. The doors were locked.
So they got out to check it, and sure enough, they could see through the window that the little girl was still in the car, fast asleep. One of the officers was actually able to kind of reach through the opening and get the door unlocked. And when they opened the door, that's when the alarm went off.
And that's when Yamilet woke up.
I was just super grateful to have the police there, the law enforcement, and the community really come together.
Her mother says it's possible she slept through the whole nightmare everyone else had lived through.
And she was in there and asking for me. Now she's okay, and I'm so happy to have her home, and the worst is over.
Catherine Cook, KGW News.
All right, let's take a look now at some of this morning's other local headlines. Tualatin Valley Fire and Rescue and Portland Fire were both able to contain a small brush fire overnight in Portland's West Hills near Northwest North Road and Laidlaw. This call came in shortly after midnight. Crews quickly got the fire under control, keeping it from spreading to a nearby house. Portland police responded to an attempted kidnapping in Old Town yesterday. It happened right in the middle of the afternoon at Northwest 1st and Davis. Police say the suspect claimed that a 5-year-old girl was his daughter and attempted to take the girl, threatening to stab her caregiver with a knife. Well, the caregiver reportedly kept the 5-year-old safe by pepper spraying the suspect. He's identified as 43-year-old Spencer Meng. Police arrested Meng, who now faces several charges, including attempted kidnapping. He was also cited for possession of meth. Our last headline here comes from Portland Audubon. The bird conservation organization wants to spread the word about its Lights Out campaign, asking people to dim the lights at their homes and businesses to protect migrating birds. Tonight alone, more than 5 million birds are expected to pass through Oregon. Roughly 11,000 will fly just over Portland. Light pollution drowns out the stars that migrating birds use to navigate, luring them into cities where they're at risk of flying into windows. And that's a look at some of this morning's local headlines.
And now to some promising news about COVID. Data from the Oregon Health Authority shows the percentage of Oregon's Latinx population that is fully vaccinated has increased dramatically since this time last year. As of right now, 72% of Latinx adults have received both doses of the vaccine. That's compared to 76% of white adults here in Oregon. Hazel Wheeler is with the Virginia Garcia Memorial Health Center and says it's looked for ways to expand access outside of those Monday through Friday 9 to 5 clinics.
We have a specific dedicated site in Hillsborough that's just off the Max line that we're trying to bring people in for the county and the state as well. And just, again, trying to make sure that there's still access in the community.
Virginia Garcia says of the 85,000 COVID vaccines it's administered, roughly 54,000 recipients were Latinx. A Portland nonprofit that helps teens and kids cope with grief is getting some major financial help to support those who've lost a loved one to COVID. Over the next 2 years, the Dougie Center will receive a $350,000 grant from the Brave of Heart Fund. It supports families of frontline workers and volunteers who died from COVID. The money will help create more resources focused on grief. They'll be free and available in both English and Spanish. You can go to dougie.org for more details.
All right, before we get to Rod's local forecast, we want to show you some new video out of Puerto Rico showing damage from Hurricane Fiona. Look at this. This bridge washed away by surging floodwaters. It was a temporary bridge built to connect communities devastated by Hurricane Maria 5 years ago. As of this morning, still 1 million people are without power in Puerto Rico. After Fiona swept through there, the storm slammed into the neighboring Dominican Republic. It caused floods, forcing more than 12,000 people out of their homes and leaving many without access to running water. There's no threat to the U.S., but weather experts say the storm is gathering strength and is expected to become a major hurricane today.
Rod, we touched on Fiona briefly yesterday morning. I know you're tracking it again this morning.
So that storm is a Category 3 now, 115 mile per hour winds, and they think it's going to continue to grow up to 130 mile per hour plus. That'd be a Category 4 as it takes its next aim up in Bermuda. So that could be potentially the hardest hit island of the bunch. Here it is on the satellite radar right now. So again, it's left, there's San Juan, of course, Puerto Rico. So the main storm has now moved north of there. There's the Dominican Republic. These are the islands of the Bahamas right here. But then here's the eye. Clearly now starting to push up to the north. I've circled in yellow. Bermuda is so small it's hard to see it on a map. But there it is. That's the direct path of where the storm is headed. And right now the track would have it possibly as a Category 4 at that time. U.S. way over here, there are no signs that the storm is going to get anywhere close to the U.S. mainland. Okay, back to our little area of the world, if you will. We have this upper level low that is now, as expected, starting to push back to the north out of California into Oregon. So thunderstorms possibilities today in Bend, Medford, Roseburg getting some showers. Eugene expected to see some showers later today. Salem, I think you'll probably see increasing cloud cover eventually, and then the cloudiness will make it up into Portland during the day tomorrow, or maybe overnight tonight. Here's what Futurecast shows. This does not put out a lot of rain, but all of this area here will have the chance of scattered showers. This is what 10:30 this morning, clouds in Eugene, and then the clouds a little bit try to make it up into Marion County for kind of a partly sunny day. And then clearly tomorrow, you can see the cloud thrust makes it up into Portland. Here we are tomorrow morning, and scattered showers, maybe a thunderstorm again over the Cascades, and a chance of a scattered shower developing mainly the PM hours into the night. Again, that's tomorrow for the Rose City. For today, though, if you're here in the North Valley and up into Southwest Washington, we'll stay north of all that and have sunshine again. 48 in Astoria, where it will be a beautiful sunny day as well. Forecast numbers include a shower chance in Corvallis and a high of 77. You're closer to that low. Salem, partly cloudy, becoming temperatures still hitting 80, and then we're up into the mid 80s in Vancouver, Battleground, and Longview with sunshine. We did have some wildfire smoke yesterday. That smoke actually came down from fires burning northeast of Seattle. So we have some of that in the sky. Otherwise, sunny and 85. Tomorrow, the shower chance in the PM hours, 77. Clouds to sun on Thursday. Fall begins in the evening. Still looking at a nice warm up this upcoming weekend, and that's your forecast.